I don't like people understand the fragile nature of most data and results that you garner from data. What we try to do is synthesize complex events that are generally qualitative in nature. What do I mean by that? It's just nature, it's the world. And we try to put a numeric value on these quantitative or these qualitative events, and we try to say, hey, this is somehow representative of this qualitative event. Like, think about love, right? Um, you might want to put a number on love and say that we can score this value of what love actually is. And when you actually start working with data and you actually start looking into it, you begin to realize that results in terms of what data actually looks like are extremely sensitive, and it's very difficult to generate um, consistent results all of the time, and to have things routinely in one particular direction. I want you to sort of think about this, that, for love, for example, if you were to garner records of love, for example, for 10 years across 1,000 individuals, you can break that down into, maybe you break it down per day, you break it down per month, you break it down per year, you break it down for the decade, and all of those can garner different results. In fact, it's normal for that to garner different results. And so, what do you do when you have that? What do you do in terms of garnering these different results? Well, one thing is sort of pointing out and throwing out the fact that there is these these results that can be different, and say, well, that's not good. They're not consistent in any sort of way. But another way that you could do this is simply disclose the fact that you found that, and that there are all of these interesting inconsistencies that are really difficult to understand. It would be peculiar, in fact, to assume that all of those would have the same pattern. If you were to measure it per day, per year, per month, per week, you measure it per quarter, whatever, it would be very weird and peculiar to see the same effect across all of that and across all sorts of individuals or companies or whatever. And I would put into question, I almost inevitably call into question whenever I see something like that, because it's just not realistic of reality, where you see consistently across everything the same effect. In fact, I'm more, because I've worked with data so much now, I'm more of the opinion that I don't think we should ever see consistent effects. This is just simply not reality. This is not how the world works. To say that your feelings of love today is going to be the same as tomorrow and is the same as this year and the same as a decade, that's a that's a tall order to ever say that. Now, love is kind of a weird, unusual thing that you might say, well, that's qualitative. But I want you to look around you and put numbers on anything that you think would be quantitative, that we're sort of counting in some sort of way, and you'll realize that all nature, all the world, no matter how you interact with it, is a qualitative experience, and we're putting a value on a qualitative thing that we do not necessarily understand. Now, what do? Do we just throw up our hands? I think we need to, in my view, I think we need to remove the constraints and simply present data as is. Show people what things are happening and how that might happen, and just be absolutely painful honest. And I think, to be honest, is often not on the writer's fault or the data analytics person's fault, but it's on the rest of the world to say, to sort of wake up to this reality that the world is complicated, it's a mess, and it's okay to be a mess. So if you're on that side and somebody is saying, we've got all this messy data and I don't really understand it, I want you to say, that's okay. Let's take the time to understand what it actually is saying and let's figure it out. Let's just be honest. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.